In a futuristic society, the field of robotics has made significant advancements. Humans have created a lifelike artificial being known as the surrogate. These surrogates are realistic robots that are directly connected to people's brains through a device equipped with numerous sensors. When a person sits on a chair-like device, these sensors attach to various parts of their brain, allowing the surrogate to mimic their thoughts and actions. It is essentially controlling a second body through the power of the mind. Initially, the surrogate was invented by Lionel Cantor to assist disabled individuals in leading normal lives. However, within a short span of 3 years, it began being utilized for military purposes, ultimately altering the course of human existence. As the production of these devices increased, they became affordable for the general public, leading to a significant shift in human behavior. People started relying heavily on their surrogates, using them to venture outside their homes. The surrogate became an integral part of their lives, enabling them to minimize the risks of accidents, theft, and diseases associated with physical presence. Additionally, individuals could customize their surrogate's appearance without resorting to plastic surgery or exercise. The surrogate effectively became a new version of oneself, interacting with others while being controlled from the comfort of home. Just 7 years after its invention, the largest surrogate company, VSI, announced that 98% of the global population now incorporates surrogates into various aspects of their lives. Consequently, humans now live in near total isolation, rarely stepping out of their homes. Interactions occur primarily between surrogates, which has become the prevailing lifestyle trend. The use of surrogates has significantly reduced violent crimes, communicable diseases, and discrimination to an all-time low. Nevertheless, there exists a faction of individuals who hold a strong aversion towards this technological advancement. This particular minority firmly believes that humans should not rely on machines for their existence. In fact, they have established designated areas across various parts of the United States where the use of surrogates is strictly prohibited. Leading this group is a well-known figure referred to as the Prophet. Fast forward to 14 years after the creation of surrogates, a young man is heading towards a nightclub. In order to deceive his father, he fibs over the phone, claiming that he is going to watch an opera. Once at the club, he takes a daring leap from a balcony, landing safely, which strongly suggests that he himself is a surrogate. While dancing, he encounters a girl and they leave together. However, their intimate moment is abruptly interrupted when a motorcyclist employs a device that kills them both. Upon the arrival of paramedics and law enforcement, it is discovered that the male surrogate's memory chip has been completely destroyed, making it impossible to identify his registered owner. On the other hand, the female surrogate is registered under the name Cameron McAllister. FBI agents Tom Greer and Jennifer Peters manage to locate Cameron's address and pay her a visit. To their astonishment, they find that Cameron is actually a middle-aged man who was killed while connected to his surrogate linking device. This shocking incident marks the first murder in years, leaving the detectives in a state of disbelief. The subway scene changes, showing Tom running. He is on his way home from work, surrounded by surrogates. When he arrives home, he brings water for his real self, who looks completely different. The real Tom has been using a surrogate that is handsome and youthful to live his life for him. After putting the surrogate in its place, Tom leaves his room to meet his wife, Maggie, but instead, he is greeted by Maggie's surrogate. Tom hasn't seen his wife in a long time and only communicates with her surrogate. Tom suggests going on a vacation together, but Maggie prefers to send her surrogate instead and experience life through her. Meanwhile, some teenagers discover their friend, Jared Cantor, dead in his dorm room while still connected to his stim chair. At the FBI office, the detectives discuss the case and realize that the surrogates were killed along with their owners. This was previously thought to be impossible since owners are not supposed to feel what their surrogates feel. They discover that Jared was the son of Dr. Lionel Cantor, the inventor of surrogates. Tom and Jennifer schedule a meeting with Dr. Cantor and visit his surrogate. They discover that Cantor has been using multiple surrogates simultaneously, which is illegal. However, due to his status as the inventor, the detectives overlook it. Jared was using one of Cantor's surrogates when he was killed, leading the detectives to believe that the killer was targeting Cantor, not Jared. They proceed to visit the primary surrogate manufacturing company, VSI headquarters, to conduct an investigation. However, the CEO dismisses them and asserts that the surrogates are completely safe for their owners. By analyzing the camera footage from Jared's surrogate at the time of his death, they discover a picture of the man responsible for killing him. They seek assistance from a colleague named Bobby Saunders, who is an administrator of the FBI computer system. Bobby deduces that the killer's name is Miles Strickland. Additionally, Bobby has the ability to control all surrogates in the US and can deactivate them at any moment. After locating Miles, Tom and a colleague pursue him in a helicopter. Unfortunately, just as they are about to apprehend him, Miles uses a weapon to incapacitate all the detectives, killing both the surrogates and the operator. He also injures the real Tom and kills his friend. The helicopter crashes in a restricted area filled with anti-surrogates. Before Tom can reach the killer, his own surrogate is destroyed by the anti-surrogates. the real Tom sustains injuries from the weapon and loses consciousness. Upon awakening, Tom finds himself in the hospital and learns that he has been suspended for a week due to landing in the restricted area. However, he remains determined to solve the case and ventures outdoors without his surrogate for the first time in years. He decides to revisit the restricted area to confront Miles once again, but instead, he discovers that Miles' body is being cremated. Tom questions the Prophet, the leader of the anti-surrogates, about the weapon used by Miles earlier. However, the Prophet denies any knowledge of it and claims to have never seen such a weapon. The Prophet's men discover his true identity as a police officer and assault him. Tom manages to escape the restricted area and is offered a ride home by a young man who turns out to be Cantor's surrogate. The man inquires about Jared's murder case, and Cantor advises Tom to focus on tracing the weapon's origin. When Tom arrives home injured, he finds Maggie hanging out with her young friends in the living room. Maggie becomes nervous upon seeing him, but he chooses not to confront her. Later, Tom witnesses Maggie talking to a man and attacks him, only to realize that the man is also a surrogate, which doesn't bother him. In the next scene, a man breaks into Jennifer's house and kills her before taking control of her surrogate. The following day, Tom visits the military general and questions him about the weapon. The general reveals that the weapon is called an overload device, and was initially created as a war weapon to infect surrogates with a software virus. However, it was later discovered that the virus also killed the operators. Once this was realized, the production of the weapon was halted, and VSI, the manufacturer, destroyed all units except for one. In exchange for this information, Tom discloses that the restricted area houses the weapon. Then, we witness the Prophet handing over the weapon to his men, who are tasked with delivering it to Jennifer's surrogate. Following that, Tom visits Maggie at her workplace and inquires if she still longs for their son. It is revealed that they tragically lost their child in a car accident, and Maggie has been unable to recover from the grief ever since. We catch a glimpse of her true self, which is aged and wrinkled, a complete contrast to her surrogate appearance. Both Tom and Maggie are still mourning the loss of their child. Meanwhile, elsewhere, the military launches an attack on the Prophet and his men in order to retrieve the weapon from them. However, when they shoot the Prophet, who leads the anti-surrogates, they discover that he is also a surrogate. The scene then shifts to Dr. Cantor, who is monitoring the person standing in front of the Prophet on his computer. We learn that Cantor had been posing as the Prophet to prevent the use of his own invention. Tom encounters Jennifer's surrogate, who is now under Cantor's control. She informs Tom that Cantor's son was killed by VSI and their boss, Andy Stone. They had realized that Cantor was attempting to halt the use of surrogates, which would result in a significant loss for VSI. Consequently, they, along with Stone, devised a plan to eliminate Cantor using the weapon. However, they mistakenly killed his son instead. Overwhelmed by the anguish of losing his child, Cantor made it his mission to eliminate all individuals utilizing surrogates. However, in order for it to work, he requires both the weapon and a code. Jennifer already possesses the weapon and informs Tom that Stone was involved in Jared's murder. She asks Tom to retrieve Stone's computer file as evidence. Tom confronts Stone, incapacitates him, and proceeds to download everything from his computer before leaving in a hurry. Now that Jennifer has both the weapon and the code, she needs to meet Bobby to activate the virus using the weapon on every surrogate worldwide. Tom realizes that Jennifer's surrogate has been compromised, but they are interrupted by an accident. Jennifer heads to Bobby, while Tom rushes to the root of the problem, Cantor. Jennifer holds Bobby at gunpoint and initiates the virus into the system. Within minutes, all surrogate users will perish. Just then, Tom arrives at Cantor's mansion and questions him about his motives. Cantor explains that he created surrogates to assist disabled individuals, not for everyone to become dependent on them. After his son's death, he refuses to let it be in vain and wants to put an end to the addiction of surrogates. After expressing his reasons, Cantor takes a pill and ends his own life. Tom takes control of Jennifer's surrogate and asks Bobby for the method to stop the virus from spreading. Bobby quickly provides him with the codes, and together they successfully save the operators of the surrogates. Now, Tom must click yes to save all the surrogates. He hesitates, unsure of what to do, as Bobby informs him that they only have a few seconds remaining. After a moment of contemplation, he ultimately decides to press no, effectively disabling all the surrogates in the world. In the aftermath, the streets are filled with hundreds of surrogates abruptly ceasing their functions. The owners of these surrogates cautiously emerge from their homes, stepping outside for the first time in years. Realizing that something is amiss, Tom hurriedly rushes back to his own house, desperately searching for his wife Maggie. To his dismay, he discovers that she is not in her room. However, his worries are quickly alleviated when he finds her in their son's bedroom. The movie concludes with a heartwarming scene as the two embrace in a tight hug. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe for more similar content. Don't forget to turn on notifications and leave a like to support the channel.